Cool. All right, so let's go ahead and build our Theremin. You guys should be able to see everything. So when we're working with this kind of stuff, the most important thing is, even though it's all pretty low voltage, don't have your stuff plugged into a power source while you're sticking things into a breadboard. I believe in you guys, but please don't. Alright, so we're gonna get some instructions, because I don't remember how to do this off of my head. This is what the book looks like that you get with the kit. It comes with nice pictures. It also has the actual electrical diagrams if you want to learn how to do the electrical diagrams.
What is this again?
This is the Arduino, and we're going to build a little Theremin, and that's just like a little instrument.
It makes a good noise depending on how far your hand is away from it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I need... So the white part is a breadboard, and then the blue part is the actual Arduino. This black part is a microcontroller, and this is the actual part that makes the thing actually do stuff. Then we got like our power, some more pins. This is our actual power source right here. We'll plug it in, and this is how we actually get it to talk to everything too. We have a nice little reset button, some resistors, some more pins that we can do more stuff with, and another set of pins that we can do other stuff with too.
Is there like an input side and an output side, or are they all just either one?
Yeah, and they're labeled. I think it'll be a little bit hard to see on the screen, but so they're all labeled so you can see which one's the ground, which one's input, and which one's output, but they're also just numbered, so you can just tell it which one you want to be your input and which one you want to be your output.
Okay. We're talking about the Arduino right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the breadboard's just positive and negative.
Right.
The way that most breadboards work, oops, I'm just gonna beat this board up, is these are right here are connected, and then the lines are connected across. So you can normally have things connected this way, and you'll put your power on the red one and your ground on the black. And that's why we have red and black wires.
Are you saying, so if you're powering that whole side?
Yeah.
That whole row?
So if I plug in the power source here, this whole line will be powered on. And then if I put my ground on the next line, that whole thing will be grounded.
But not across that split in the middle, right?
It will, if you jump it. Right now it's not, but you can jump it pretty easily with a resistor.
Nice.
So, then...
Stretching on TV?
Yeah! Alright, so then we're going to plug our ground into our ground. And so it just says ground. Very nice. And then I'm going to actually move it down so we have a little bit more space to work with. And then we're going to plug our power in, and it doesn't matter right now. What number do I want to put it on? V3. Oh, it wants me to plug it in on the other ground, so we will do that. We will listen to the instructions. All right. So now when we plug it into the system, we will actually be able to have power and ground to our actual board. So then what we're going to do is, this is a really simple one. We don't need a whole lot of stuff. So we're going to find our speaker. This is what our speaker looks like. It's just a little tiny piezo speaker. It just does pitches. This is like a very popular little speaker to put in things. And then we're going to get our photoresistor. And that's what this looks like. It's very tiny. It just has some little bars on the top, and that will tell us whether or not it's receiving light or not. There's a bunch of different ones. You got moisture ones. You got if they're actually getting signal. And then this little guy right here is a resistor. I don't know if this is the right one, so we might need to do some more digging. Whoop.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole point of, without getting too deep into like how electricity works, you don't want to pass too much power to any of these little components because they'll fry. So you just dampen the electricity with a resistor, and it will work. All right. That's not the color I want though. They have different ratings.
What
Yeah.
was the first thing again? That was a resistor too, wasn't it?
This
Not
one?
Not that.
No, this is a photosensor. So this actually, here, I'll hand it to you so you can see it. It actually has the little bands on the front will know if light's hitting it or not and return a signal based on that. So technically it's a little bit of a resistor because it will use power, but it's not designed to be a resistor. All right, so I want a brown, black,
So it's just
orange
a
one.
light sensor, right?
Mhm. Resistors can also look different. So we got like this big boy, and he does a lot more.
Resisting.
Yes. And you can get super into like learning like how electricity works and all that. I'm not going to teach you guys that. I'm not a physics teacher. All right. So we got that. And then I need a couple little baby cords. So we're going to get a short cord, longer cord, and a teeny tiny baby cord. The other thing I like about the Arduino kits is they give you all these like little pre-made wire snips. So they're just little tiny, they're like staples. But they have the super teeny ones, and like these would be a pain to hand make.
Right.
But you get a box of them. Alright, so that's all I need for this. So then we will just follow the instructions and build it. So, boop. We're gonna plug our speaker in so that one leg is on. Why would I do it like that? Fine, whatever. Alright, so we're just gonna hop, and I like to give it lots of space, so we're gonna put it like probably back actually.
So you have one on ground and one on power,
Yeah.
right? Because you have two different rows.
Yeah, we're gonna give one. Yeah, we'll see. One of them's gonna get an input one. So I'm paying attention to where the pins are going in, because once it's all the way down, it's really hard to see where those are. So the closest pin to me is on 29, and then the other pin is on 25. And we'll push it all the way down, and then I need one more tiny wire to connect that piece.
To jump it, right? Yeah. And you said you need a resistor on the power side. On the
Yeah.
ground side, you can just jump it, right? Just a little
Yeah,
bit.
because you're not really, that's not a flow per se. Like if you're having your ground has too much issues, then something else has gone wrong.
Right.
So then from our, right here, where it's grounded out like this, on the same side, we're just gonna get it to jump to our further away leg, which is 25.
Wait, hang on. I thought it would be, why isn't it not next to it?
Because that would be power. If we put it right there, that would be on the power part, because that's where that line
okay.
is.
I
Yeah.
see.
So we're gonna put it on the ground. I need a little bit longer one.
So that's powering and grounding vertically.
Yes, and
then
then
the
the
middle
middle
part
part goes horizontally. Yes.
Ah,
Yes.
I thought it was just powering or grounding whichever row it was on.
Mm-mm. That would make sense, but that's not how it goes. Okay, so then we're just gonna get this to be under here on row 25, right? That's what we said, yeah. Doot, doot, doot. Then we push them all the way back down. I also like to bend all my wires out of the way. You should probably just use the right length of wire, but that's work. Okay, then we're gonna take one of our longer wires and we're gonna go from the one closest to me, which is on 29. Tuck him in. And then it asked me to put it on 8 here, and this is our digital input, and so that's what it's asking for right there. Did I put it on 9?
I think you put it
Yes,
on
I did.
9, yeah.
Boop. It doesn't super matter because we would just change it in the code to say, hey, put it on 9, but the instructions say 8, so we'll put it on 8.
So you can make those, that whole like, those two rows on each end of that Arduino, you can make it do whatever you want. So it could be an input or an output, you just have to tell it what it is.
Exactly. Yep.
Neato.
All right, so now we're going to come down to our actual controller, and we're going to put him on the bottom. So we're just going to put him like this down here. Again, paying attention to the numbers, but this is a much taller piece, so it's a lot easier to see where he is. So the leg furthest away. Also, let's talk a little bit about cathodes and anodes. It's not super seeable in this. Let me grab an LED. So when we're talking about flow and polarity and all that kind of stuff, most pieces have a cathode and an anode. I think cathodes are negative and anodes are positive, which means that so our short leg is the anode, which means we put the short leg on power. I'm not 100% sure. I would always double check before, but just know that there's a difference, and if you put them in backwards, it won't work. And that's how you fry things really easily too. So this one doesn't really have that, so it doesn't matter, so we can just put them in there. Boop. So then our resistor is going to go to one leg with their striped, and that helps determine how things are. For smaller resistors, the way doesn't matter. Like this one I could probably put in backwards and it wouldn't matter. And then with
There's a certain name for that, right? Like the ones that like check valves too, like they can like only let electricity flow behind.
Yep. Things like this don't have directionality, and this is still a resistor. It's just a different amount of power it can handle. These don't have directionality, like it doesn't matter if you put them in backwards. I like to keep everything consistent regardless of if it matters, just because if you're building a lot, it'll make your life easier. So then from ground to one leg, we will put our resistor with the brown stripe close to this. We're going like this, give them some juice, and then we're going to take our little tiny cord and power him up.
Is that on power or ground?
Ground.
Okay. Why are you?
Why? Because I'm following the picture. I think it's so it doesn't get fried, is honestly all it's doing. And so as like the circuit goes through, because it's such a variable thing, and so I think it's letting it handle more juice. Okay, and so then we're going to have our analog in, which is our series that starts with A for analog. That's down. Trying to do this like backwards and upside down is confusing.
Bottom right.
Boop, boop. And it asks us to put it on pin 0 from the in between. Oh, this is why. It's because we're handling it back to the Arduino and we don't want to fry the chip. That's why.
So that makes sense. So the battery, the return, ultimate ground return is on the Arduino, not the
Yeah.
breadboard.
So resistor, wire, resistor. Yeah. So not too bad. Not a whole lot of components. And the nice thing about these is we didn't have to solder everything. It's just there. It's in the board and it'll just work. All right. So there's that. So now let's plug it in and put the code in and see if it works.